Hey YouTube family, it's Dinko the Realtor. Is it a good time right now to buy in 2023? We're going to take a look at a lot of information and a lot of data to see if that time has come yet. The MLS, the Board of Realtors, has finally released the data, the official data for December and the last week of January here, and it's showing what my preliminary data was showing. It's going to be the 7th consecutive month we're seeing price drops. Down here in the bottom left, $521,000 is the new median price of a single family home along the Wasatch Front. We see the days on market is now 46 year over year. It was 7 last December of 2021. In December of 2022, 46 days, from 7 to 46. The price from May's peak was pretty much $600,000. Now it's down to $521,000. It's really irritating that for the last 6 months, all I've kept hearing is prices are not going to go down. The market's stable. It's a good time to buy. Go in and buy a home. And for 7 consecutive months, and the preliminary data for January is showing that January is going to be the 8th consecutive month that we're going to see price drops on the median single family home price. Make sure that you subscribe to the YouTube channel. That way you have all the information you need in Utah along the Wasatch Front to know when the time is right for you to purchase a home. The other thing is, do me a favor, hit that like button, give me a thumbs up. It'll really help the YouTube channel grow. And when the time is right for you, if you do need a realtor along the Wasatch Front here, I'd love the opportunity to work with you. I'll always provide you current data and current information. That way you can make the decision that you feel the most comfortable with. We're going to go over a lot of different stuff here, and we're going to do this pretty quickly. Now, the Fed right here, if we take a look, here we go. So a correction. The Fed chairman, Jerome Powell, and this was in September, said that we need to probably go through a correction after a period of a red hot price increases in homes. Jerome Powell said that we are probably going to need to go through a housing correction, and we're probably going to have one. And he said there's going to be pain in the economy, but yet people are not taking that advice or thinking that that's not going to happen. We have to see what people are saying that actually, he has arguably on the economy more influence right now than almost the president of the United States. We have to pay attention to what he's saying. Now let's take a look at this other article over here. Buckle up, America. The Fed plans to sharply boost unemployment. This was from September 30th of 2022. Now right here, Jerome Powell said that we need unemployment to hit 4.4%, even if it causes a recession. And if we go from 4.4%, from 3.7% to 4.4%, that will be an additional 1.2 million people in America losing their job. And we were supposed to be hitting, it seems like 4.4% by the end of the year right here. We haven't hit that. That means that the Fed and Jerome Powell probably thinks that they're not done doing what they need to do. They have a war on inflation, and they also said they do not want to pivot too early. They want to make sure that they do a full-out correction, because then it'll just cause a bigger mess. So they would rather overcorrect than undercorrect, and then put a stimulus out there and do some kind of small bailout like there was in 08-09. Now, if we take a look over here, we see that the Redfin CEO predicts a terrible, which will ultimately be good for the real estate industry. And Redfin right here, we see it's another one. This one was published January 13th of 2023. Housing market update. Sales are slow to kick off the new year, but more buyers start searching. Well, yes, there is always an uptick in homes after the holidays, after Thanksgiving, Christmas, and New Year's are over. That's not unusual. If we go over here, if we take a look, the inventory is currently 7,300 compared to 1,798 a year ago. That is a 300% increase, which means there are 4 times the amount of units on the market right now compared to same time last year. We have to follow the data of what's going on, and we'll come back to this here. Now, I want to show the Redfin article, because right here, home prices fell from a year earlier in 20 of the 50 most populous metros in America. That means that we are negative in 20 out of the most 50 populous metros in America year over year, where the metro is eating into the equity gains of 2021. And the thing is, our MLS didn't release the data until the end of January here. This article was published the 13th of January. So we're not on the list, but we will be next time. So it's actually more than 20. And I'm sure other areas didn't release their stuff. So on the verge or will be. Now, if we take a look here, prices fell 10% from a year earlier in San Francisco. So San Francisco has eaten into 10% of the equity gains in 2021. Seattle, 5. San Jose, 4.9. Austin, 4. We have Detroit, Phoenix, Oakland, Boston, Los Angeles, Sacramento, San Diego, Chicago. We have Portland, Anaheim, California. A lot of the boom here along the Wasatch Front with home prices going up is because of people moving from California. Well, if people in California are having a difficult time selling their house and they're losing equity in their homes, doesn't that mean that that could potentially slow down our market here as well further and further? I mean, we're negative 13% from the peak. And if we look at over here, bottom left, we are down 1%, 1.5% from this. So December was negative. There it is, year over year negative. And January is going to be lower. So that's another month that we're going to be negative and eating into more and more of the equity gains of 2021. Now, this is the other thing we have to pay attention to. How big tech pandemic bubble burst? We know that there is a lot of hiring freezes and a lot of layoffs going on in the tech industry. Amazon, Meta, Snap, Salesforce, Alphabet, they're part of Google, Twitter, Microsoft. All of these companies did numerous layoffs and hiring freezes. And we know, I mean, Snap, if we go over here and we go to Google and we say Snap layoffs, right? This mic is in the way, it doesn't make it easy to see the screen, the keyboard there. So if we take a look at Snap, not fitness. Why is it going to fitness? You know, there was a Snap Fitness. That's interesting. So let's go down here. Snap layoffs. Snap plans to lay off 20%. Netflix wasn't on that list, but Netflix has also been doing layoffs. Netflix layoffs continue as 300 more employees are fired. This was June of 2022. Now, Tesla wasn't on there, but Tesla layoffs, right? They did their layoffs. So if we go down here, Tesla's said to be conducting a fresh round of layoffs next quarter. So in December of 2022, Tesla reportedly conducted a new round of layoffs and paused hiring further into the first quarter of 2023. And then we know that they did their 10%. So Elon Musk wants to cut 10% of Tesla's. This was June 3rd of 2022. And then right here, we see that Tesla begins layoff of 10% of its staff in June of 2015. Now we have a tech bubble. We have a housing bubble potentially. We have potentially a tech bubble. We have potentially a car bubble, a car loan bubble. We have a world recession, and we're going to get through all of that, and we're going to move through this stuff really quickly. But I mean, you have to search a lot more stuff. And my degree was in economics. So when I take a look at stuff, I mean, I'm looking at everything, right? These are all the articles that I've saved in my email. When I exit out over here, I have different articles, and I don't even know all the locations where I saved articles that I've been reading. But you have to stay up to date with a lot of different things that are going on into the marketplace. And if we take a look at this chart over here, San Francisco, I mean, they have land issues. They have an ocean, just like us. They have mountains, so they don't have a numerous amount of land that's flat to build on. We see here when they started crashing, in end of 06, you could say they stabilized right here, but then they kept crashing and they stabilized right here and then they kept crashing. If we go down to Seattle had, I mean, look at that. They had like 4 or 5 different times that it looks like the market was stabilizing, but it was a slower and longer crash. And they didn't appreciate as much, so they didn't crash as much. But look at this. Look at the steepness right here. We're seeing San Francisco's negative year over year. Look at the steepness right here with Seattle. They're negative year over year. Our steepness is just as bad as it is with these other ones. And we're seeing 13% from the peak. And now we're negative year over year. Lennar, as I mentioned in previous videos, has the whole state of Utah in its category 3, which is its worst category market, where they're just not really confident at all about the market. I mean, this is the stuff that we have to pay attention to. I said we'd come back to this. If we go over here, we see, how can it be the same? In December of 2021, there was 2,099 homes active. We see December 31st of 2022, there was 8,158 homes active. When we go to the other one, we see that both of them went down. That's because people have taken their homes off the market, they couldn't sell them, or it expired, meaning that the brokerage and realtor didn't sell that house in time and it expired, or they took it off. We see here, down here, right? We go down, we see that there is pretty much a 200% increase in the difference of withdrawal. So this is where sellers just gave up. It didn't even expire. They just said, hey, I'm not getting enough showings. I want my house off the market. It's 3 times higher than it was a year ago. The expireds are also 2, 3, 4 times higher. They're going to, let's just say 50% of these sellers decide that they're going to sell their house in March or April when springtime comes around because they feel the market's going to correct itself. There's going to be more buyers and it's a better time. Isn't that going to flood more inventory? And then that's the selling season, buying season. So we know there's going to be more and more houses hitting the market at that time. We have to pay attention to all of what's going on here. Now, if we take a look, and this is why I was confident in December of 2020, I was telling people that, hey, they're saying that the market's going to appreciate 9 or 10% in 2022. I think that it's actually going to be just as bad at the beginning of 2022 as it was in 2021 because the inventory is actually lower. There's actually less homes that are active. So once we get out of the holidays, and I had some buyers that I was working with, and I said, I don't want to feel like I'm pressuring you guys, but this is what the data is showing. I think if you want to buy, you need to buy now because it's going to be a lot harder to buy in January of 2022. And all of a sudden, we went put an offer on a home January 4th or 5th. It just barely hit the market. It received 20 or 30 offers. We didn't get it. They called me on the 9th or 10th of January and they say, hey, those homes that we looked at that were sitting on the market, are any of them available? Not one. They just disappeared. Well, why? Well, there was 2,000 homes. I mean, if we go back to the 2021 and compare 2021 to 2020, look at that. The inventory was 24. So let's just say 2,500 homes compared to 2,100 homes. So the inventory is showing that it actually decreased. But now the inventory is showing that it increased. So there's always an uptick. And if you take a look here, there's an uptick. Yes, there's 38% less homes that are now under contract versus in December and November, it was in the 40s. So there is a small uptick, but that is completely normal. If we go through and we take a look here, for example, mortgage demand jumps nearly 28% in 1 week as interest rates drop to the lowest point in months. Now, that's a huge increase, right? But when you read further down here, it says the application mortgage increased by 25%, but it was still lower 35% from a year ago in the same week. Well, we are entering the purchasing season. There are going to be more applications, and maybe that interest rate dropping 1%, that doesn't mean everybody that applied is going to go out and buy. Maybe people are still not going to be happy with their monthly payment. So we have to have more than just one thing that wipes out all of the negatives. So one positive news is able to wipe out 10 other things that could be negative about the housing market. That's why we have to pay attention to everything that's going on. And look over here. The auto market industry. I mean, we went over some of this in the mortgage Wells Fargo crash, but Wells Fargo said, hey, we want to minimize risks. And watch that video if you want, right? We want to minimize risks. We're no longer doing mortgages. I mean, well, if they thought that the market was just going to flip and everything was going to be great, why would they do that? And they're off-selling the ones that they have. And their chief executive writer was on that Yahoo article stated that it was to eliminate risk. Now, we see that the delinquencies here are going up. I mean, if we just go to Google, if we say, hey, car bubble, right? Car bubble, all of a sudden, we see used car loan bubble is on the verge of popping. It's not just a car loan crisis. Gen Z and millennial auto loan default rates are soaring. Well, yeah, everything is great. Nothing has popped off, but yet we're still in a mini housing crash. But what happens if 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 dominoes falls? How bad can the correction get, right? So this is the stuff that we have to analyze of what's going on and make that decision. I want to show this right here. So I compiled in Excel. Let's say the prices from today's single family median price of $520,000 go up 5%. That's a $26,000 gain, and that's a median price now being $546,000. If there's a 10%, I don't know what would have to happen for homes to just skyrocket and just go up 10%, but that would be a $52,000 appreciation, and it would be a median price of $572,000. Now, what if we have a 10% drop? Well, all of a sudden it goes from $520,000 to $468,000. And what if it's a What if it's a 20? I mean, so we put 520. And what if it's a, and I'm having Excel do all of this because I don't want it to feel like I'm skewing anything. So if we do, this mic doesn't make it easy, does it? So there we go, 104,000. Now we click equals the 500. We go minus that. Whoa, that did not do it. That did not do it, did it? So we go that equals that minus that, enter, 416. If it goes down 20%, we see that it's 416, the new median price. Or if it goes down 10%, it's 468. Life doesn't give you what you want. It gives you options. Do you want to take a little bit of a risk where prices might go up? Or is the information showing that there's a greater chance that prices are going to go down? So make sure you subscribe, give me that thumbs up, help that YouTube channel grow, right? And if I get to a couple hundred subscribers here in the next month or two, I'll hold a Q&A. That way we can go over more of this stuff. Now let's get back over here to some more articles, and then we're going to wrap this up. The student loans, so we see millennials and Gen Z are defaulting. Student loans are not, they haven't reinstated the monthly payments. What happens when people get a $500,000 monthly payment, but maybe they substituted that monthly payment with a higher car payment? Does that mean more defaults, car bubble pops? All of a sudden we have bankruptcies. Bed Bath & Beyond is on the verge of filing bankruptcy. Carvana, which would flood the market with cars, is on the verge of filing bankruptcies. All the tech stocks are going down for the housing market. I mean, we just have to take a look at all of this. Look at this one right here. Look at this article. And the housing market, right? The first time the rents are dropping. Now rents are dropping here. And if we go to this article, rental housing market is suddenly headed towards a hard landing. Not only are prices of homes being affected that are selling, now rents are being affected. And there's this whole thing where these hedge funds and these big time investors buy on margins, which means they have a $2,000 stock portfolio. They borrow $200 million against that stock. It makes it look like they're a cash buyer, but those margins can get called. It's really hard to find exact data on this. I kind of know how it works a little bit, so we're not going to go into a lot of detail, but there's talks that the investors could flood the market with inventory. Now, there's talks about a world recession. And in 08-09, America caused a world recession with its financial crisis. If we take a look here, China, Canada, Mexico, Japan, Germany, Korea, United Kingdom, France, Taiwan, and India are our top 10 trading partners. Well, Canada imports, I mean, they import the most stuff from us, right? So we're exporting and importing. We export 20% of our gross domestic product to Canada, and we import from them 24, right? And we see here that they're 15% total, and China is number one at 17%. Well, if we go over here, we open up Google and we search Canada, right? Canada housing market correction. Let's just put crash. See what pops up. I mean, you guys just Google this. I want y'all to do this as well, right? Canada housing market forecasts will drop in 2023. So the Canada housing bubble has finally popped. Canada's real estate officially crashed. I mean, Canada real estate bubble may crash until 2025. There's issues going on in the entire world economy. There's going to potentially be a world recession. Are they going to be able to get out of it just as quickly as us? In 08-09, Canada wasn't affected that much. I mean, there is a lot of information that we have to follow. It's not just housing. Look, if you feel like the time for you to buy right now, I'll help you get the best deal you currently can. If you want to wait, whenever the time is right for you, if it's now, 6 months, 12 months, I would love to help you. Give me a call. I'll always share the current information of the market, information that I have. That way you can make that decision for yourself. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, give me a thumbs up, help the YouTube channel grow. And until next time, have a great day.